lot of people that I knew that had come to Vienna had said that the city's great, that you gotta visit it. There was a side of me that wanted to prove them wrong, you know? I gotta say, it's really nice. Vienna, a place I arguably took my sweet time to come to. Up there with Budapest and Prague, Vienna seems to be a part of that group of perfect secondary European capitals that seemingly always come up in conversations. Oh, but have you been to Vienna? You know which city I love? Vienna. You really need to go to Vienna. So I get the point. This city's gotta be very alluring. But is it more than just my unreasonable assumptions of Mozart references, horses, and sweets? I mean, I don't really like sweets, so why should I care? Also, this is a Germanic country. I'm more of a Mediterranean kind of guy. Give me dry weather, sun, beaches, give me some food with a bunch of garlic in it and I'm a happy camper. But my undying curiosity and willingness to know what any fuss is about will take me anywhere. So that's how I end up in this hyped little capital with just an extended stopover to cram in as much as I can. So Vienna, like many European capitals, is divided into districts, and which district you stay in can determine what kind of city you experience. However, it is worth mentioning that Vienna is actually pretty small and extraordinarily easy to maneuver around. Whether that's on tram, subway, or an Uber, though in typical European fashion, Uber is always subject to government regulations, taxi lobbies, the drawbacks of socialism, yada yada yada. I digress. I stayed at the Max Brown Hotel right smack in the 7th District. That puts me within walking distance of some nice pedestrian-friendly nooks and crannies like St. Ulrich and its Ulrichsplatz, the long descending narrow alleyway filled with boutique shops and tiny cafes Raimundhof, as well as its adjacent and main cozy little shopping street Mariahilfer Strasse, which is a great place to people watch and let the day wither away over some of those good Viennese pastries. Being here also places me within a short subway ride to the core of the city called the Innerstadt. That's where you'll find the Vienna of Rick Steves, with the Grand Cathedral, the Stephansplatz, and all the very best of the touristy goodness. In all fairness, it is a really nice stroll around this district, with lots of pretty and perfect buildings to admire, but it's just a little too crammed for me. Since I don't have all that much time here, I'm in the mood to go somewhere a little more green. Like any big city worth a damn, Vienna has large public parks. These serve a dual purpose, providing oxygen, as well as a place to momentarily get away from busy Austrian life, which I assume must be so difficult, what with their high income per capita and low levels of stress and unemployment and all. The Volksgarten and this city might be growing on me ever so slowly. Vienna is oftentimes mistaken as a town with no grit, as a real-life city version of Disney World propped up for passerbys to be enchanted, as if real people, with their real issues and struggles in an urban existence, didn't actually live here. Out in the 2nd District is Supersense, a unique all-analog concept store that features top-of-the-line relics of yesteryear and doubles as a cafe that whips up some damn good pastries and breakfast. Roderick, who coincidentally decided to wear the same color shirt as me today, is an official city guide and joins me to discuss life in Vienna for the Viennese. Coffee's a thing. Coffee has always been like part of the Viennese culture. The coffee house is a place of gathering. It's an institution.
It does. It actually traces back for like 300 and even more years. It was always a place where people met writers, composers, literates, politicians, and like regular people also to discuss what's happening in everyday life.
So what do you think people do wrong when they come to Vienna? What are they missing out on? What are the typical things they fall into that they shouldn't be doing?
They expect the historical center, the inner city, to be the place to be also at night. And then they discover actually it's kind of a dead place because not a lot of people live in the inner city. It's just too expensive.
Right.
So if you want to have a good experience where Viennese people actually spend their time with, spend their money with for work, but also spend their nights, then go to the districts around it. Go to the Danube Canal, go to the more vibrant places. The first district is actually quite small, and there are 22 more districts to go, especially the one around it. There's where everything is happening.
What do you think is a big misconception people have about Vienna?
So Vienna is a quite laid-back city, a quite comfortable city, and sometimes people confound it with a boring city, which it's not. It's a dynamic city which tries to progress constantly. Most people just have in mind arts and classical music, and then they can also be quite surprised that we actually have also a lot of migration here in Vienna. Like half of the population is actually not born here in Vienna itself. I think they're kind of surprised by that also, that it's also a melting pot of different cultures, nations, languages and all this. If sipping your latte surrounded by vinyls and Bolex cameras isn't your thing, head over to the MuseumsQuartier, a redesigned 18th century imperial courtyard cleverly crammed with modern art museums and structures that contrast with the old Baroque terraces and facade. Certainly a nice place to feel sophisticated, but without the pretensions. But I'm digging this hipster-made strudel just fine. A lot of people that I knew that had come to Vienna had said that the city's great, that you gotta visit it. There was a side of me that wanted to prove them wrong, you know? I gotta say, it's really nice. How does it like living in what most people consider to be one of the most, if not the most livable city in the world? Well, yeah, Vienna is considered as one of the most livable cities in the world. I think there are several reasons for it. We have a very moderate level of rents here in the city, which is very, very good, especially for people of lower social class and young people. And one reason for me personally, is that in Vienna, I don't always have to reinvent myself constantly. I don't always have to be busy, and so the city is quite laid back. It's quite comfortable how it is. They're quite proud what they achieved. It's not like cities like Berlin or London where you have the feeling that you have to constantly be on the move. And I like this about Vienna.
Behind Vienna's glossy finish is the story of a city that once claimed the seat of power to a mini-empire. An empire that ruled, jointly with Hungary, large portions of Central and Eastern Europe. Vienna, then, has never been a stranger to immigration, and the Brunnenmarkt neighborhood in the 16th district is a shining example of their age-old tradition of letting someone new, someone with a different tongue, make something of themselves. And as with any influx of new people groups, there is an enriched local palate that develops as a result. The main draw in this predominantly Middle Eastern and Balkan neighborhood is the street market that runs along Brunnengasse up until Yppenplatz. You come here for one reason, to eat. And damn it, this is the best place to eat in Vienna. So eat, I shall do. Ah! This looks like a reputable establishment. How about a little duck fried rice?
Thank you. What owe you? There you go. Thank you. All right, crispy duck. You got your veg. Guy's got a stand. He's even got a fancy place upstairs. Now we're talking. Gotta say, that's pretty unique. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Moving on up. You know, not too bad for a street food stand. Comes with a view. Crispy duck. I told the guy to make it nice and spicy. That's not half bad. Definitely doesn't taste takeouty. Doesn't have that MSG cancer-inducing quality to it. Pretty fresh. Not bad for €3.50. I mean, you gotta love it. The guy's ambitious. He didn't have to put any kind of terrace or balcony here. I mean, he said, screw it. A roof is more than a roof. I'll make sure my customers enjoy all $3.50 they spend. Give them nothing but the finest.
Now, if you want to stick to more of a Germanic experience, make your way to the tiny Spittelburg neighborhood. It's a few cobblestone streets packed with cozy little restaurants that can serve you a very Austrian behemoth plate of schnitzel. Or you can visit one of many Wurst stands and have yourself the single most delicious thing you can eat in Vienna, Kasekrainer. Absurdly fatty and delicious sausage stuffed with molten cheese that dangerously explodes in your mouth. Served the way I like it, with fresh grated horseradish, spicy mustard, and pickled peppers. Stupid good.
If you thought Vienna was just, you know, expensive cups of coffee with whipped cream on it, tons of Mozart statues, and guys wearing Mozart wigs, you're wrong. You are dearly mistaken, my friend. This is actually cheaper than the coffee I got at Stephansplatz. Better view, too. I appreciate it. I get to learn Turkish while I eat.
So I guess I understand what everyone was on about. Vienna is one of those select few cities you'd actually have to try hard to mess up, even with the dangerous hype machine that surrounds its existence. The fact that it's beautiful or seamless to maneuver around wasn't really the surprise. The surprise was finding out that there are many levels to Vienna that go way past the tidiness and perfection of an alpine nation. Levels created by a mixture of the very best of everyone who has, and will continue, to come through here. So no, Vienna isn't just Mozart and gardens, but I wouldn't blame you if you pop on some headphones, crank up a little night music, and take a stroll through all of them.